Old school RPG fans are in a really weird but incredibly good spot right now. We aren't getting massive AAA studios suddenly remembering classics like Wizardry, Might and Magic, or Eye of the Beholder. Honestly, that would be too easy. Instead, if you spend any time digging through Steam lately, there's this awesome wave of indie fantasy RPGs bubbling up from the basement. Some are freshly out, some are on the way, and a few feel like they were custom built for players who still think a dark corridor, a bad map, and a suspicious chest can carry an entire evening. If that sounds like your kind of night, welcome back to Magic Game World. Today, we're looking at 10 new fantasy RPGs that old school fans absolutely need to keep on their radar. Grab your graph paper and let's dive in. We're starting off strong with The Darkness Below. This one dropped back in February of this year, and it's a massive love letter to the golden age of 90s dungeon crawlers. Instead of smooth, modern movement, you're stepping block by block through a handcrafted fantasy world, turning at perfect 90-degree angles and looking at those flat retro sprites set inside three-dimensional stone hallways. If you miss the sheer depth of Dungeon Master, Eye of the Beholder, or Lands of Lore, this is probably the cleanest starting point on the list. It doesn't try to hide its influences at all. It just walks straight up to you and proudly admits it's for the old school crowd. You'll build a custom party, train your skills simply by using them, and try to survive tactical turn-based battles where one wrong step gets your squishy spellcaster crushed by an ancient guardian. And honestly, we'd love to see it. Now, if that specific block-by-block exploration is exactly what gets you excited, you also need to check out Realms and Ruins Abencor. It's dropping next month on July 28th, but there's a playable demo live on Steam right now for you to check out. This one is an open-world, first-person crawler that draws heavy inspiration from Wizardry and Might and Magic. The demo drops you right into the listless swamp and a couple of small dungeons, which is the perfect way to test drive a game like this. Screenshots can show you what the pixelated monsters look like, but you really have to play it in real time to see if that just one more room loop actually hooks you. It's got that classic RPG vibe nailed down. Pixel monsters, swamps, and the feeling that every corner is hiding either great loot or a massive problem, usually both. But if you want a game that leans even harder into that classic party management dynamic, keep an eye on Dungeons of Ironshade. There's no firm release date yet, it's still listed as coming soon, but the pitch is crystal clear. It's a classic first-person crawler where you lead a party of 4 adventurers through a massive 13-level dungeon on a rescue mission to find a missing mage. You get to customize your team with classic roles like the warrior, paladin, rogue, and mage. The game relies heavily on real-time combat, managing skill trees, and solving plenty of puzzles. It captures that slow, creeping panic when your torches are burning low, your spellcasters are out of mana, and you still have no idea how deep this place actually goes. It looks like the most box art RPG on this entire list, feeling like something you would have pulled off a software shelf back in 1992, complete with a physical manual you actually had to read to survive. While Ironshade keeps things dark and serious, our next game completely flips the script. This is a Kobold story Trenchcoat adventurer. It launched earlier this month on June 4th, and it completely shifts the mood. It's a beautifully hand-drawn, crayon-style dungeon crawler about 3 hungry kobolds who pile into a trench coat to masquerade as a tall hero. Their motivation is incredibly relatable. They overheard that successful adventurers get to eat the best food and find the shiniest treasures, so they stack up, put on the coat, and head down into the ruins. It plays out more like a chaotic tabletop comedy, deeply understanding that most of the time, old-school RPG parties are really just a group of weird little idiots making terrible decisions together. But if you're ready to plunge right back into the grim, dark depths, Ancient Shadows Awakening is waiting for you. Slated for later this year, this moves away from grid-based movement into a fully 3D, real-time dark fantasy survival RPG. Instead of stepping block by block, you have full free-roaming control, meaning you'll have to deal with active positioning, skill trees, and keeping your oil lamp lit while managing survival elements like hunger and thirst. It nails that hostile atmosphere where the setting itself is your biggest enemy, and every single step forward costs you precious resources. Of course, spending your entire evening in a dark basement might sound a bit too claustrophobic. If you want a little more fresh air while keeping those classic party mechanics, that's where King's Courier comes in. Also planned for sometime later this year, this is a free-roaming first-person party RPG where you take on dangerous delivery orders for the king across swamps, forests, and caves. It has a heavy might and magic vibe, an open world full of high-level areas you're not ready for yet, which naturally means you're going to walk right into them anyway. Now, if you like that first-person perspective but want something a bit more action-oriented, where you're actively swinging the sword instead of clicking commands on a character sheet, you'll want to check out Fatekeeper. It launched into Steam Early Access just a couple of weeks ago on June 2nd, trading character sheets for visceral sword-and-sorcery combat in a handcrafted world. It captures that Dark Messiah or Hexen-adjacent appeal, where you're not managing a party from a bird's-eye view. You're right there in the dirt, dealing with your mistakes in real time. Along those same first-person action lines, there is a much longer-term project you should definitely pin to your Steam wishlist, Whatever It Takes. This one is still a long way off. The developers are currently targeting the tail end of 2029, so definitely treat it as a long-term watch, but the concept is incredibly promising. You play as a fallen god fighting through tactical, physics-driven duels. You'll master elemental magic, absorb enemy powers, and even use a harpoon for traversal. It's a risky bet because of how far away it is, but the pitch is incredibly ambitious. Shifting from dark corridors to massive open skies, we have Sagas of Lumin, which is aiming for a release later this summer. It's a single-player, semi-open-world action RPG that features seamless transitions between ground combat and aerial dragon riding. It's not a classic grid crawler, but sometimes you just want to ride a dragon into a fleet of airships and worry about the consequences later. Finally, if you want to bring things back to a tactical tabletop scale, Terrinoth Heroes of Descent launched on June 7th. It's a co-op, turn-based tactical RPG based on the Descent board game. It focuses heavily on party synergy, positioning, and that classic tabletop feeling where one bad turn can trigger a total disaster. It's basically a board game night without the setup. And that's what makes this entire wave of games so exciting. They aren't all trying to copy-paste the exact same open-world blueprint. From the grid crawlers like the Darkness Below to the tactical combat of Terrinoth, there's a flavor for every kind of old-school fan. They're all different versions of the exact same fantasy addiction, and sometimes you don't need a massive, bloated open world filled with thousands of question marks on a map. Sometimes you just want a dungeon, a party, a flickering torch, a cursed hallway, and the freedom to make a terrible decision that wipes your entire squad. If you miss Wizardry, Might and Magic, Eye of the Beholder, or classic tabletop campaigns, there's plenty to keep an eye on here. Let me know in the comments which ones you're putting on your Steam wishlist and what you've been playing lately. Don't forget to subscribe to Magic Game World, and we'll see you in the next video.